Hey, welcome. I'm your guide from the Spiritual Seek. We've all taken those personality quizzes online. They're fun, but do they really go deep? Today we're exploring something different, something that taps into ancient wisdom to map out the hidden corners of your soul. We're talking about the Gnostic Personality Test.
Everything we're about to discuss really boils down to just two simple words: know thyself. This was carved into the Temple of Apollo at Delphi thousands of years ago, and it's been the starting point for pretty much every great spiritual journey since. It's the absolute core of what we're digging into today.
But that's the big question, isn't it? How do you really get to know yourself? Not just the surface level stuff, but the deep down parts of your soul. Most methods just tell you things you already suspected. But what if you had a map, an ancient map to your own inner world, showing you what drives you, what you're afraid of, and where your true strengths lie? That's exactly what this test promises to be.
Okay, so before we can read this map, we have to understand its legend. Gnostic wisdom says there are three fundamental dimensions of our consciousness, and these three dimensions color our whole experience of life. Let's break them down.
So first up is the Hylic. This is all about the physical, material world, the things you can see and touch. Then you've got the psychic. Think of this one as the bridge, the part of us that's trying to connect our everyday life with a deeper feeling of purpose. And finally, there's the Pneumatic, which is that deep connection to something bigger, to the spiritual, to the transcendent.
So how does all this become a personality? Well, the Gnostic framework uses these three dimensions to outline 6 very distinct archetypes. And as we go through them, I want you to just listen and see which one really speaks to you. This is where it gets personal. Let's start with that Hylic, or material dimension. On one hand, you have the Hylic Materialist. This is someone who feels secure and grounded in the tangible world. A good job, a nice house, that kind of thing. But then you have the Awakening Hylic. This person might have all of that, but they're starting to feel like, is this it? They're beginning to look for something more. Now, for the psychic dimension, that bridge, this is where you really feel the pull between the material and the spiritual. The struggling psychic feels this as a constant conflict, right? They're trying to climb the career ladder, but a part of them just wants to go on a silent retreat for a month. The psychic seeker, though, is actively trying to blend those two worlds. They're finding ways to bring that search for truth into their daily life, not keep it separate. And finally, we get to the pneumatic dimension, that deep spiritual connection. You've got the pneumatic mystic, who you might picture as a hermit on a mountaintop, totally detached from worldly stuff. But then you have the embodied pneumatic. This person has that same profound connection, but they bring it back down into the world. They're the enlightened teachers and leaders who stick around to help the rest of us find our way. So let's make this really concrete. Imagine you're standing in a forest. What's your first instinct? Is it A, I could build something here, a need to use the resources? Is it B, just a quiet sense of peace? Or is it C, this overwhelming feeling of connection to every leaf, every animal, to all of life? Your gut answer there points to your dominant dimension. A is Hylic, B is psychic, and C, well, that's pneumatic. But here's where it gets really fascinating. This isn't just some old philosophy. Incredibly, these ancient ideas are starting to be echoed by modern science. It seems the Gnostics were describing fundamental patterns of the human mind that neuroscience is just now starting to put on a map. And to really get a sense of this, consider that the Gnostic thinker Valentinus was classifying these exact types of consciousness almost 1,800 years ago. That's nearly 2 millennia before modern psychology even existed. It's just a mind-blowing historical connection.
There's actually a whole field for this now called neurotheology, and what scientists are finding using brain scans is that these different states of mind, material-focused, integrative, transcendent, they actually correspond to different measurable patterns of brain activity. The ancient map is lining up with the modern brain scan.
And get this, the implications aren't just psychological, they're physical. According to the research behind this test, people who fall into that embodied pneumatic archetype report a rate of chronic disease that's 45% lower than average. That's a huge deal. It suggests that how we orient ourselves spiritually could have a direct, powerful impact on our physical health. Okay, so we've looked at the ancient map and the modern science. But now, let's bring this all back to you. Because this is about more than just fascinating ideas, it's about transformation. This is really an invitation to start your own deep dive into who you really are. So what do you actually get from this? Well, you'll receive a full profile of your spiritual archetype. But it's not just a label. It's designed to give you real insights into your core strengths, but also your biggest challenges. And it comes with practical, tailored tips for your own personal growth, helping you get a much clearer picture of your purpose and your path forward.
At the end of the day, a tool like this is really just a mirror. It shows you not just who you are right now, but who you have the potential to become. Whether it's through ancient wisdom or modern science, the journey always begins with that one simple, powerful question. Are you ready to truly know yourself?